Hey you guys, it's me, Namaste. So, wow, what we were experiencing this weekend was pretty extreme. And, you know, it felt such involuntarily thing that you wanted to do. But it happened. It happened, and now you're feeling more more you, right? And this experience started probably Friday and did not finish until probably yesterday, right? But yesterday was really, you were already winding down. But when this struck, it wasn't even because something had to trigger it, but the person that was triggering it was not really the case. And the reason why I say that is because we were acting very different. We reacted to the response very different. And even like that, you were out going about your business, and then all of a sudden it just struck. And it felt like this was like one of the definitely core wounds. And it was pretty extreme because you did a lot of purging. We all did a lot of purging this weekend. And you couldn't help by feeling that anger that you probably had in here, and it wanted to be leached out. It's like, ah, and these type of experiences are very, man, you kind of get beat up. I want to tell you that, but the weird thing was that it was just not kind of adding up. The core wound was very extremely brutal, but the reaction that you had, your dream state was doing, so it's like not your subconscious, like in my mind, everything's going good, dream state wise, right? Because usually in your dream state, you feel that there's things that make you fearful of things, or you need to have unfinished business. And lately the dream states have been pretty awesome. It's like what you've been asking in reality, and it's coming into into the dream state, right? So I'm like, nah, that's not it. And even though this experience, or this purging that you needed to do, was absolutely kind of your downfall, because you really released it. You really were just shouting out to the heavens, and you let it be known, okay? You didn't hold that in. You didn't say, oh my god, I'm supposed to think about this, smudge, 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 smudge. No, not at all. It's like you literally said, oh, yes. So a lot of purging that happened, and you did absolutely awesome, because at first it really didn't make sense at all. It didn't, and you just let it come up, and felt your emotions. And even like that, of course they were questionably, little by little you kind of opened up, and it could be that you surrendered to your emotional body. You surrendered, of course, to the divine. But it was absolutely absolutely, it was madness. Okay, it's like Groundhog Day, the movie, that it just kept repeating and repeating and repeating. But nothing say that your 3D say it's going and it is what it is, but the mind really kept repeating that thing that you fear the most, or the thing that you lack, right? So I came into the conclusion that we were experiencing the lack matrix, right? And I was writing stuff down, but what we have experienced felt very much like that. The lack of not being fulfilled, or the lack of always having that mentality, right? And when you have that mentality, you kind of, it brings you into a spiral all the way down, because that's all that it is running and playing in your mind. And sometimes you have to go all the way down to that deception of the lack of missing something, and always going to be missing something. And you had to literally climb up out of this whale that you fell in, right? And at that point, it was very, I would say, very tragic for a lot of us, because really, this was extreme. This was really extreme. But you just released, and you released any expectation. That's exactly what I did. I released, and did not expect anything out of this, and I did not think if it was going to be right or wrong. I really stayed in there, in that whale, until I was able to get that force to come up and to help me through this, right? And so it was very powerful at the same time, but you did not experience that powerfulness until ta-da, the day after. And some of us went through this whole weekend like that, and you see it for what it really is. If we see the world, if we see every ascension, every type of cycle, but I'm seeing more like an ascension. So every time we kind of level up or something, but we see that it's so many worlds out there, right? And some of us have had experienced the lack matrix, and like whatever you did, it did not, you were not able to get out of there. That's how much you felt that. It's like, as much as I tried and tried and tried, it was never enough. It was never enough. And once I saw it as, and I know that a lot of us hate it when it comes to, it's a game, because it kind of irritated when it's just a game, because it's like, you're playing with my emotions, buddy, and this is not funny at all, and they say that, as we decided to come in, it's like, man, that was kind of harsh, but it's so not, you kind of don't blame yourself, and I could say that that's in a good way, because we're trying to move away from that, the blame game, but at the same time, it's like, why, universe, why? But after so many whys, and you come to the conclusion that this is just another world that you experience, and this one was the lack of matrix, right? And once you kind of acknowledge that, You simply see that that's something that you visited, something that you experienced, but now I don't have to go back, and I do not want to go back. So if you see it that way, it kind of, we are able to sense it a lot more, right? Versus seeing that this is literally just your life and your life itself and never it's going to change. So if you look at it that perspective, yes, it kind of deeply brings you down totally. But now you have a whole different perception of these type of experiences that you do experience. With me, oh my god, this was totally a crazy experience that I had in regards of the lag matrix. And what I will not do again. So that's something that I wanted to share with you guys. I think that now we are feeling a lot better. And when you think that you feel stuck, it's really a, you know, the mind can be such a, it's a powerful tool, definitely. It's very powerful, but it can also much like deceive you. And it's kind of sad to say that at the same time, because when, you know, you used your mind the whole, you know, since you started here in this world, you know, in this planet, in Mother Gaia and planet Earth, and for it to kind of deceive you is pretty harsh. It's pretty harsh, and that is something that we have to kind of forgive our minds for kind of screwing us over at times, right? Is that the forgiveness that we are needing to forgive and not others? I think you know, it's what you experience within yourself is what you experience outside yourself sometimes. And you know, that's where it comes in stopping the expectations, right? Because we did that a lot of times. And I was also doing that for a long time. And until I just completely said, you know what, I'm always having the same result, you know what, this is going to be different. And even though I've pouted and cried and all that, it was something that, it was an awesome experience. Not at that time though, but it was definitely an awesome experience that I would definitely always cherish forever and ever and ever. And yes, my friends, so remember that there's always a way out, okay? And if you are literally just repeating this image over and over in your head, then, you know that experience, or what you're experiencing, it's a world, so you're literally just kind of visiting it. So remember that you don't have to, that is not the place of living, especially when it's coming from here, right? And even like that you can always change it. One of the things that I've been, it's already to 14, that I've been starting to do is my happy place, or how it felt to do something that made me feel good. So that is something that I'm starting to do. I recommend that you guys start to do that too. And it takes baby steps, of course, you know. And this is the only way that we're going to start, or we're going to shift our energy. Alrighty, guys, until next time, namaste, much love, bye.